Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So, woke up to some snow, but we're allowed to plant and so forth on days like this. So, let me show you what my plan is. So at this point, obviously we've got these fields growing. We've got these we just harvested, and again, we think we need a couple fields of sunflowers. So I'm going to go ahead and rent the planter, and I'm going to plant 7 and 10 with sunflowers. All right, so we're going to be able to lease this for 7,114 pounds. All right, so I've filled this up with the 3,876 liters of seeds. You can see we've got sunflowers selected. Get this positioned to make a pass on the field. All right, here we go. And we are planting our sunflowers. So yeah, some of the benefit of obviously not worrying about seasons, but also this is really more an FS22 type thing where I'm not sure that we'd be able to plant in frozen ground normally. Alright, I'm going to run the headland down here so that I have both ends of the field set. And that way I'll potentially be able to turn around, see how everything plays out. Alright, so I am planting, hoping that will work. But yeah, the good news is, as you can see, even with a full width for the most part, sunflowers are not heavy consumers of seed. This may be where we run into a bit of a problem with the snow. Well, I actually see where a bit of my problem is. I went and took a look. One of the things I didn't verify was I don't really have a machine that will handle the horsepower. This technically is supposed to be used with a 300 horsepower implement. And so what I think I'm going to need to do here is just run it from up above every time. So basically loop around, drag it up the hill, you know, where I've got at least a little bit of momentum here, and then bring it down from that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this field planted, and then maybe where it's a little cleaner and a little less dancing around, I'll come back and maybe we'll watch a little bit more planting on 7. That's at least a little bit more level. Alright, over here on field 7. So let's see how everything will go here. I think I'm running off the edge a bit, so let me back up and kind of cycle that way. Alright, just rather have a little bit of the edge of the field not used, but just don't want to have the border not really planted. Want to get every little bit we can. So as you can see at the high seed rate, well now it of course just left the high seed rate. We were at 14 seeds per meter squared compared to 224 or whatever it was for other crops we've planted. So as you can see, sunflower is definitely not a high consumption crop, which is always a good thing. But important thing is we're getting this into the field. And run down this way a bit too, as it's going to be tight with the trees otherwise as I go that way. Now, I'm just seeing if it was a little bit of an uphill because the trailer was having a hard time getting some traction, but we're good. And then obviously I'll want to run down here, you know, and kind of run a headland, because we are going to have the issue. Missed a little corner there. I'll have to clean that up. But otherwise, yeah, we'll have an issue as we get near the fence. But I may just need to figure out how to get the best coverage there that I can, and I think this is going to be too sharp of a turn, so I think I'm going to run straight through here just to make sure this piece gets planted, and then I'll reposition after that. So, yeah, we're definitely not going to use a lot. You know, I didn't want to have to waste time going ahead and refilling the planter. So I felt I wasn't going to need it to be full, but I should be able to, you know, unload in bulk on the ground, and then, you know, yeah, I'll have containers sitting around, but I can then use that next time or just refill the seeder that I have. Now the challenge obviously is the seeder is 2,000 liters full, the one we have, so and my guess is the way this is going, I don't think I'm going to be down to that. So even if that seeder was completely empty, which I don't believe it is, you know, we're not going to grab all the seeds, but again, we had fertilizer and other things sitting on the ground for longer than that, so it'll be alright. I'll, you know, maybe go do that somewhere off to the side where I can just pull in later and kind of go from there. So let's see. Go ahead and just let this start planting, because this is going to be a partial row here. But yeah, the good news is this field looks like it's going to have no problem with the tractor, and it wasn't terribly bad. I was able to get up the hill without the plow or the planter in the ground without too much of an issue, but shame on me for not having looked ahead of time. But I think I was less concerned, certainly, because I had quickly went to, well, I'm going to just lease it. Yeah, I knew it said snow was coming, so I was expecting that we were going to get hit with some, and we are. I have to see if this makes sense. I think we'll be alright for getting a turnaround here. But, yeah, the question is, are we going to get enough yield off the two fields to get what we want to handle the upcoming orders, the VIP orders? But in any event, whatever we get, this is going to be the best outcome that we could have. You know, and if we need more, obviously we can always plant more, but right now we've just got two fields that we're waiting for crops, and rather than try to get going on something else, I thought, I know I need a good amount of sunflowers, so let's just utilize both of those fields for the same crop. So I'm going to finish this up, and I'll see you when I'm done. Alright, the last part here. Turn that off, get this folded. And I did get that corner cleaned up when I went down the planted row there. I'm going to head over this way, because I think we'll leave the seeds somewhere on this side. So yeah, definitely a quick morning, but it is a very large planter compared to what we've got. So it did make quick work of these fields, which would be to be expected. All right, but yeah, I think you know, other winters, well, some of them we were just waiting for things to grow. We didn't really have work to do. I think the last winter I went through, but never really had snow on the ground. So this is definitely a different experience on the farm here. But nice to just get that opportunity. Trying to figure out, I guess, I mean, this is kind of where I had the fertilizer. I think I'll just leave it, because at most it might be 5 containers, but just empty that, or not 5, 4 containers, and that is what it is. So I'm going to get that dropped off. I'm going to let the leasing company know that I'm done with it. They can come and get it. But let me get this out here, because at this point our next job would be to fertilize. Alright, so here on the field, get this spread. Doesn't look like we need a ton of fertilizer. Just taking it up again, 60 or so kilograms per hectare. So not nearly as high as we've seen for some crops. Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape here. Might be missing a little bit. I am using my GPS at this point just to try to be as efficient as possible on these fields, but I think we're okay. Yeah, there's always a little bit of touch-up in these areas here, so I'll just go ahead at this point and finish running across. And that will, you know, put everything in a much cleaner way to move along here. Alright, back locked in on my trail. So, definitely going to get this done in 3 passes, which is the norm on these fields, so not surprising in any way, especially, you know, the other field has that little lip. Might be a little bit wider, but nice quick work of this field here. So this crop is going to be ready to go and just get to the harvest point. So definitely making some quick work. You know, it'll probably be a pretty nice short day here on the farm. Not really anything else I can do beyond getting this done. Let me head over to the other field. Alright, here we are. We'll get this one done. Yeah, we actually have to add less here. That's interesting. I'm not sure if it's because it's a better soil or if there's just a smaller need. Yeah, now it looks like it jumped back up. So I think we've just got some soil that doesn't have as high of a requirement down in certain areas. Alright, that turn worked. It's always a bit of a estimation game there to make sure that we're hitting things the way we'd like. And again, this should be easier because we don't have any sharp turn. I'm really spewing a lot off to the left side. I'm not being the most efficient fertilizer I can be. Now here I've got a bit of a problem with that field sticking out. Alright, we'll get the top here just so wherever it positions I'll be in good shape, but you know, we've got ourselves all the way around, and again, if I recall, it's basically 3 passes to touch up the middle and we'll be done. So I was not sure if that 1,355 liters we had was going to be enough, or if I was going to have to come back and do something different, but clearly it worked. Alright, so we're going to have a little bit up there. You know, it's just always a bit of a challenge. It's hard to get totally efficient rows, but you know, hopefully it'll work appropriately down there or up there. Not sure that we're going to cover everything. I think we're going to probably have just a tiny bit sticking out down to the south that we're not going to quite reach, but that's almost a quick turn on of the fertilizer and, you know, almost on and off. I mean, you can see on the mini map the minuscule amount. You know, it's almost one of those you could leave and no one would be missing it. But we'll get it done just because there's not really a reason not to. And then we'll come back through here, and I assume it will consume some, because the challenge will be the tractor may be close enough. No, I think it'll be okay. So like it may be in a position where it thinks, wow, it feels there's no fertilizer there at all. There's a little bit there, but that's definitely a lot. It's kind of the highest consumption we've had. Alright, so we've got that all finished up. And then I'll take this back at this point because it'll be a little bit, and in either way I'm going to have to top this thing up anyway. So I'll get that over to the fertilizer silo. So I've got that filled up, so we're going to be set for years and years to come. Alright, so just trying to get myself a little bit under cover. Not really where I would park it, but it's okay. Let me get this closed. I haven't been putting the harvester away for a while. It's been open for months, but let me get myself under cover. So let's just do a quick check of where we're at so that we're all clear. Okay, so we've got sunflowers growing on this field, canola growing here, and then oats growing here. To finish up our level 3 VIP orders, we're waiting on oats. Then, again, we'll have sunflowers and sunflowers. You know, the question is, are we going to get all 39,000 out? But obviously, if we don't, I have no doubt we're going to have 14,000 off these fields. So we'll be good there. You know, the big question will be, are we going to have enough oats off the field to finish what's left here and cover that? Because at this point, we need just under 400 liters, or 500 liters, and if you recall, that 18,000 was off the large field, so I don't think there's any possibility that we're going to fulfill the level 4 order, so we're likely going to be planting oats somewhere as well. You know, and then it's going to get more challenging as we start trying to plan ahead over the next few months for what's going to happen to level 5 and 6, and of course, who knows what level 7 and beyond is going to look like. You know, I'm going to go ahead and get in the warmth of my home, enjoy what's left of the snowfall. It looks like the sun's going to be coming out, but enjoy that from the comfort of a window, maybe a cup of hot chocolate, and I will see you next time.